Today we are here with Minister Corine Mack, the president of the Charlotte NAACP. Thank you for allowing me to interview you at this time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the fact that two beautiful black women are engaged in this work.
Of course, we're here to discuss what's going on with our community today. A lot of individuals, they want answers. They kind of lead to marching and protesting for answers, but we just want to touch on other ways that we can make a change within our community, which pretty much leads me into my first question. The NAACP is historically known for being strategic regarding their undertakings. What is the next strategy toward eliminating race-based discrimination?
Well, I don't think any one race can eliminate race-based discrimination, but I think it's important to have those conversations. It really isn't coming on our white counterparts to have conversations with their own folk. Me, as a black woman having that conversation, it may not penetrate in a way that some other white folk who get to some extent what we're going through, having those conversations. So for the last 2 years, we've been talking about this and having these conversations, especially around Trayvon Martin. We began them, and they've been continual. But nonetheless, the system, the institutional racism, the systemic hate towards African Americans is something we've endured for many years. And I am not gullible and I'm not naive to believe that a conversation will change a race.
What is the NAACP strategy to help reverse recent voting rights laws that have diminished the number of hours for people to vote?
We've been strategically trying to get folk to register to vote, first of all, educate folk of their right to vote, especially those who are now off papers, that they do, in fact, at least in North Carolina, have the right to re-register and vote. We've been having educational forums, we will continue to do so.
Okay.
At the end of the day, when I hear an African American say, I don't vote, I've never voted because my vote doesn't matter, it grieves my spirit.
It does.
Because we know our forefathers have died to give us the right to vote, and I don't give anything away. I don't give anything back. We've lost so much and we continue to lose so much. So our strategy is really through the educational process. We will continue to do that. The forums that we have are an opportunity for you to vent if you need to, but before we leave that room, have some understanding of what we're going to do as a people. And at the end of the day, each and every one of us have to take accountability for things that's happening in our community, to take accountability for what we have not done ourselves. And then we have to make the police department and all of the institutions accountable for what they've done to us. That's how it works.
So what kind of educational programs in regards to voting have you guys had?
They've been forums.
Okay.
We've partnered with the Democracy and See. We've partnered with the League of Women's Voters. We will partner with anyone to get information out, and we will continue to do that. We're probably going to have another Know Your Rights within another few weeks.
Okay.
And we'll be having several candidate forums, so you can hear firsthand what candidates really feel about particular issues, and you can ask those questions.
I also think that this needs to be something that happens year-round, not just when it's time to vote, just so people can just be educated on how to vote, where to vote. You know, a lot of people don't know, especially in school. I just graduated from the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University, and unfortunately, voting, it was a big deal, just because President Obama is coming out of office. But I feel like this should have been a big deal year-round.
And I agree. And we need to be very mindful that though black folks in particular love voting for the presidential elections, it is the midterm election that's so important because that directly affects your family and you every single day. You have to vote for your legislators, you have to vote for your city council and your county commissioners, and you have to vote for the gubernatorial races. Those governors make laws that will totally destroy your family if you allow them.
I'm aware, and that kind of leads me to the next question. As you know, Governor Pat McCrory, he just signed a law that requires state law enforcement will not be required to show dashboard or body cameras to the public. Considering the specter of police brutality, do you believe that this may be a step backward for our community? And is there a strategic plan of action that the NAACP is analyzing to really reverse this law?
We are. As you well know, that law was signed on Monday.
Yes.
We'll go to the legislature and probably pass because we know how they've been responding to issues of late. But I did have a conversation with Chief Putney, who understands that that language really says that the chief has discretion. And he's already taken the position that those folk who are victims have the right to see those dash cams and body cams. Now, the public at large won't have the right to do so, but at least the person who is a victim will. I believe, and I told him this, I believe that we should have the right to see all dash cam videos, especially when city fundings have paid for. I mean, we fought very hard for this. And my particular branch fought very hard to make sure that we had body cams here. We fought very hard to get civil liberties passed, and we did get it passed. So for me, it is many steps back. This is why it's important that we know who we're voting for. We had too many charlatans vote for Governor Pat McCrory because he was a former mayor of Charlotte. And look what he's doing to us. Look what he's doing to us. And so I would ask for you to know who you're voting for, whether they're black or white, because there's some black folks that don't get it. They really don't get it. And they'll put out something in the public for your conception, but behind closed doors, they're hurting us. It's important that we become really educated and know who we're supporting.
So today you are hosting a forum. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, they will be conversing with the Charlotte community. When I watched other forums, a lot that included police in their conversation on police brutality, it hurt me to see that they were just kind of saying what the community needs to, how the community should comply to policemen when they are pulled over, instead of the actual policemen recognizing what they need to do differently when pulling someone over. Now, will you be asking them to speak on what change they are making within the law enforcement community?
Absolutely, that question's already been posed. Okay. I've already met with the chief, as I said. I'm very disturbed at what's happening throughout the entire country, but I remind folk all the time, blacks have been killed right here in Charlotte-Mecklenburg.
Right.
And there was no uprising.
Right.
When Kerrick, got a mistrial, there was no true uprising. There was a small number of us that was enraged and outraged, but for the most part, it was quiet. And he and I spoke about this in depth. And tonight's forum is not simply about police talking about what they're doing wonderfully.
Right.
Because it's not so wonderful for my community. But it's an opportunity for African Americans and others to engage the police, to ask those hard questions, to be angry in an organized atmosphere, to be angry, to have the ability to vent and ask hard questions, and then for us to figure out how we collectively can come together to make things better here in Charlotte. If we don't have input, then we really should not say anything.
Right.
But at least come out tonight and give your input. People may not agree with you. We may fight like cats and dogs, but when we leave that room, we will all have at least an idea of what we want to do as a community to make it better for black folks and all folks.
Right.
Because I know I can't stand any more of this.
Right.
I just cannot stand another heartbreak like this, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when I hear what's the NAACP doing, I have to chuckle and not take it personally. Because at the end of the day, my question is, what are you doing? Right. Black folks historically have a tendency to sit back and criticize other black folks. I know that I don't have all the answers, which is why I need more input. Right. I need more involvement, because I cannot do this by myself. And honestly, this is not about Corine Mack. Right. This is about our community. What are we? And I'm not speaking French. This is reality. What are we going to do? Get involved. If you think that the NAACP is not doing enough, become a member and help us do better, help us be better.
Which kind of leads me to my next question. In today's society, people, they rely heavily on social media, and that's where a majority of individuals hear breaking news. What is the NAACP doing to create a more robust social media presence?
I have 4 young people who are in charge of my social media committee. I have a committee, guys. But unfortunately, my young folk work. They're in school, and they haven't been able to do as much as they like. I understand that we have a few people who said they're willing to become members now and help us with that. I'm so happy, because the reality is I'm just learning social media myself. Right. I'm of a different time. Like when I grew up, we had the old Witten telephone public booths and paid 10 cents. Eventually went to 25 cents. I'm just saying. So I need help.
Well, thank you for admitting that. At least you're not trying to make it seem like you have everything together and that you want the community to join and just, be active. I mean, they should want to be active within the community, especially for such a great cause like the NAACP. Recently, a photo showing a banner that said a man was lynched by police yesterday was hung at the NAACP's New York City office. What are the thoughts of the Charlotte NAACP office on this action?
Well, let me just say this. I get death threats on a regular basis.
Really?
I just don't talk about it. And which is why I become so frustrated when folk want to criticize me. you're not getting the death threats. I am. I'm a volunteer. I'm not a paid staff. I volunteer every single day, and I'm doing 40 to 70 hours every single week to ensure that my community is safe. And so you can have those criticisms. That's okay. I prefer you have the criticism and work with us. That's very different from sitting on the sidelines and criticizing. You're not being a help, you're being a hindrance.
So now I want to take it to social media because a few people, they do have a few questions. So the first question, are the police and prosecutor too close, effectively destroying any objectivity a prosecutor should have when investigating police killings of black men? And if this is true, should such cases always be handled by an independent prosecutor or by the federal government? And this is from Enid on Facebook.
Absolutely. That's been my position from day one. I think there should always be an independent investigation and prosecution in these types of cases. Clearly, all of the entities work together, but more importantly, the system was never built for black people. We need to realize that. I'm very bad at promoting myself, which means I'm very bad at promoting the work that my branch has done. The NAACP was the founding organization and leader in the fight against injustice. We are the ones, along with SAFE, in which I am a state organizer for, we're the ones who pushed for the Civil Liberties Ordinance to change the way cops had to stop us. We're the ones to push to have aggregated data set up because there was no data to even prove that a cop had a problem. It was our organization that did that work. We were the ones who fought for the Citizen Review Board, and we're still fighting for subpoena power. It was us that did that work. We were the ones who fought and got banned the box on the city level to ensure that people who are re-entering citizens had a better opportunity of getting employed. We're the ones who fought for the ban the box on the county level and won to ensure that folk can get any job opportunity, at least to get into the interview process, and then talk about what happened in terms of how they were arrested and incarcerated. So don't say that we're not doing the work. We're doing the work. The problem is I'm not good at promoting myself. And it's not mainly from a spirit of humility, is because my focus really is about the work.
Right.
So I've been so bad about just promoting, oh, look what we've done. I've been really bad about doing that. But now I know I have to talk about it because people don't realize how wonderful and how proud I am of the work that this branch has done. The fact that we have Beth Pickering, former city councilwoman, as our chairperson for housing, working on low-income housing, not just affordable housing issues, and trying to find ways to ensure that we have better housing for our people. The fact that we're the ones who are the forefront of working on living wage, and we're the ones who are fighting for $15 and a union. And there's so many different facets to that statement. For me, it's a life. As a black woman, my life matters. I should be entitled to the same things my white counterparts are entitled to. I should be respected for who I am as a person in terms of my character and my ability to do a job. So when I walk into a room, I'm not visible. I can articulate, I'm intelligent, I have something to offer this country. Listen to who I am, see who I am. So I get that.
Thank you for allowing, or just, saying that our generation just needs to come in and help. I have a lot of young friends, and I will definitely know that we know that it's a collegiate, it's a collegiate branch, but I want them to know that it's also a high school branch for my little sister, so she can join because they have a lot to teach us as well. I look forward to seeing you again, and tonight I will be there at the CMPD conversation with the community, and I'm excited to see what our community has to say. So thank you.
Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you. God bless you.